Searching for the bodies of her family members after Russia attacks her home, a Ukrainian woman meets an American journalist. From the outside, it may seem like the two don't have a lot in common.
NBC 15's Elizabeth Wattis first brought us the story of an unexpected connection months ago, and tonight she shares an update on how one South Central Wisconsin town continues to strengthen a bond and even bring joy in the war-torn country.
Moments of joy in Kat Lonsdorf's apartment.
Precious. She's got a haircut. Did you get a haircut?
A guest appearance from puppy Chloe during our Zoom chat.
The best. Do you want to sit here?
Lonsdorf grew up in Verona, and now she's a journalist for NPR News.
Almost every day I'm texting with someone in Ukraine.
She spent the past year back and forth to Ukraine during the Russian invasion. She was last there back in September and October, when Ukraine was taking back control of some towns in the south and east. With the liberations came some moments of joy.
You see people like waving Ukrainian flags because they haven't been able to do that when Russian occupying forces are there, right?
But those small moments are almost always surrounded by constant reminders of how much still needs to be done.
We're here surrounded by a bunch of ruined Russian equipment.
These abandoned Russian tankers litter the streets of destroyed infrastructure and neighborhoods.
If you really start to think about the scale of the problem and how much help people need there, it can be really overwhelming. I often was overwhelmed.
A part of her most recent trip Lonsdorf did know was going to happen, a visit to someone special she met months before. A woman she met at a rubble site searching for the bodies of her family members.
She just started talking about like, oh, I've been to the US before, like I've been to Wisconsin. This is all in Ukrainian, so it's getting translated. And I was like, oh, I'm from Wisconsin. And like we managed to narrow it down. She was like, oh, I've been to Madison. I'm like, oh, I'm from right out of Madison. And she's like, oh, I've been to I went to Verona. And I was like, I'm from Verona.
Turns out Ludmila Boyko spent time in South Central Wisconsin years before, staying with Lonsdorf's neighbors on the very same street she grew up on.
And I took a picture with her and like sent it to my mom, who sent it to my neighbor. And my neighbor was like, oh my gosh, that's Ludmila. Like, we haven't heard from her this whole time. We actually didn't know if she was safe or not.
The journalist did her research and learned more about this woman she connected with thousands of miles from home.
She's a trauma counselor. And she had been trained partially in trauma counseling in Madison. And so now she's using a lot of the training that she learned in Wisconsin to help her whole town.
Lonsdorf went back to check in on her once neighbor and now friend Ludmila.
It was like very joyful to see, like when I walked in to see her again in September, she just like got up and gave me a big hug. She's like a lovely woman.
Another moment of joy found in an unlikely place.
These little moments of joy, but it's also like surrounded by this like very serious, awful thing. But like you have to find the like nuggets of joy, or else, you know, that's humanity, right? Like you have to have a balance, and people need the balance.
Elizabeth Wattis reporting for us there. Lonsdorf has an important message to people here in the U.S. about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. She says, don't look away. The war is not over, and it's not going away anytime soon. She says people need our help.